Hey everyone, Christian here, and here's another palm review. Thankfully, I found a nice specimen of this species. This is Arenga engleri, or the dwarf sugar palm. So this palm is related to the fishtail, and so all Caryota species and all Willikia species, which I haven't done any vlogs on, but Arenga is a very large genus that's native to mostly eastern and southeastern Asia, all the way into Australia, and most of them are clumping. There's a few solitary species, but most of them are also very cold hardy and tropical looking. As you can see, this has nice glossy leaves, nice broad glossy leaves, and the silvery underside was actually quite beautiful. You can see right here. Probably the best way to see it is if I just kind of flip the leaf over. This terminal leaflet's quite broad, and you can see just how much color is on that. A little bit of bronze too. And so, like I said, this is native to Taiwan, and I believe a couple other areas like in mainland China and some other outlying islands. But this is often planted in much colder areas, all the way up through most of central Florida, into even parts of northern Florida. And it is great for hedging, when you can't put a zone 10 palm in there, into like your hedging or wherever you want to create a screening. These are great for that. And they're not crown shafted, but they don't create a whole lot of leaf litter. They hold a lot of their leaves still in the crown, and they're just overall really easy to grow. They tolerate quite a bit of drought as well, and they'll look much better in a little bit of shade with more water, but they will tolerate full sun and less water, but just won't look quite as nice as, say, this specimen, because these are grown quite well underneath some live oaks here. We have some live, this is the entrance to a neighborhood, and so yeah, basically there are a lot of species of clumping Arengas. Engleri is probably the most commonly used. I would say it is the most commonly used in cultivation. It has this flat plane of pinnae, where other species will have more arched and curved leaflets. So that's the easiest way to kind of tell. I'll try and find some other specimens of the other species in the genus. I might have done another Arenga pinnata, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check. But this is a perfect, basically growing engleri. They must be well irrigated, and it gets just the right amount of sun, just kind of at the end of the day. So now, do note that when these palms, they will eventually flower. When they flower, the trunk will eventually die afterward. And so that trunk will basically have to be chopped out of the clump, and then more will kind of grow up from it. But the trunk will, that's where most of the maintenance will be required for this palm. So the seeds are also something to be of note. They will be bright red. They will come in like this little cluster, and they will have oxycalcite crystals in their fruit. So if you're going to harvest seed from Arengas, do note that if you do harvest the seed, note that basically, first of all, use gloves, because the crystals are like fiberglass insulation, like little bits of glass, and they will make you itch for a long time. There's a story of a gentleman who decided to collect some, I don't know if it was Arenga seed, but it might have been Caryota seed, fishtail palm seed. And he decided to and this is at Fairchild Botanical Garden in Miami, he decided to put them in his shorts to try and hide them from, say, someone who thought that he was going to get checked for seed. And he ended up having to go to the hospital because the fruit was kind of broken open. So it's kind of like putting shards of glass down in your shorts. So please don't do that. When you collect the seed, collecting the fruit themselves, you can pick them up, but if the fruit breaks open, and you have to collect it with gloves. Try nitrile gloves, or chemical resistant. So, but yeah, if you look in here a little bit, you can see that the actual trunk has some weaving and some fibers in it, and that's notable of all the Arenga species. All the Arenga species. Pretty much a lot of fishtails will have some weaving as well. Not quite as much as Arengas and Willikias though. And Willikias, I'll try and find some good specimens to do some vlogs on. But you can see there's probably 9 or 10 clumps, 9 or 10 suckers coming off of the main trunk. Other species will have a much more pronounced main trunk. This one has a couple larger trunks here, but this one here has that, and then this one's in a little bit more shade. So you can see that It's not growing, it's not quite as large. You can, it is also, it looks like it attempted to fruit. Now, if they don't successfully fruit, they will actually, the trunk will not die. So if you can find a way for them not to fruit, they will survive for a little bit longer, but they'll eventually find a way, or they will die kind of on their own, kind of giving up. So if you want to prolong the life of the Arengas, you can go ahead and do that. This one's probably in almost 100% shade here. You can see how long the leaflets are, and they look very tropical, you know, these nice glossy leaflets. But their cold hardiness, I would say, definitely hardy to all 9Bs. Probably almost all 9A climates will be fine growing this as well, and they'll grow in full sun, so that's also nice. You know, they are kind of freeze hardy. They might burn a little bit starting around 24, 25, and probably will survive even like an 18 to 20 degree hard freeze once. They might die back down to the stems, and they might even go further, but I'm not sure, and I don't want to tell someone that you can grow it in an 8B, 9A climate. But I know that they are grown in 9A areas and seem to survive that. So anyway, I believe that's about it. The seed, you know, itself looks a lot like a little kidney bean sort of shape, and you know, they'll be kind of, they're not that big. They are remote germinators, but they don't go, their roots do not go down that far, so you don't have to worry about them you know, needing a deep pot for these or anything. So germinating them, they like kind of like they don't need to have really well draining soil. They kind of grow in swampier areas, so you can give a little bit more like a topsoil sort of mix if you want to. It's a little bit cheaper, and just give them a good amount of heat, and they'll germinate if they're fresh. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and want to see more palm reviews like this, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification. I do go live quite a bit. And if you have any questions about Arengas or monocarpic palms, which are palms which seed one time and then their trunk dies, go ahead and leave it down below, and I will get back to you guys and everyone and gals as soon as I can. And thanks for watching.